Good morning, everybody. It's Todd Duncan, and welcome to our 9 o'clock coffee with Todd session. Excited that you guys are here today, and I've got a really cool lesson teed up for you. A couple years ago, I was talking about this concept called endorsement value. And one of the things I want to say, no matter whether you're a loan originator, a lending leader, a real estate agent, whatever, I think one of the biggest things that is missed in the area of influence is what I refer to as endorsement value. And what endorsement value sets the stage for us to understand is really a couple things that are pure common sense marketing ideas. So as you think about your brand, you think about what is possible. And this is one of the guys that I coach. And I just want to put this up here. He says, I've bought 101 rental doors in the last 60 months. I live off 25% of my income, and I have no debts other than my mortgages. Plus, I take 20 vacations per year thanks to your coaching. And when I think about what I'm doing with Wally, and what I think about what I'm doing with our elite group, and what I think about is happening with our high trust coaches, there's a methodology that we want to teach every realtor and every lender on the planet. And that is this idea of what Seth Godin says when he says marketing is actually what other people are saying about you. So at the very, very crux of what we want to cover today on this edition of Coffee with Todd is the idea of two things. One, your clients are talking about you. And I know it's obvious, right? Your clients are talking about you from the first moment they have an interaction with you, all the way through the transaction. And depending on how that transaction ends, they're going to be talking about you for years to come. And the idea for any real estate agent, lender, anybody who has a chance to take a borrower, a purchaser of a home and take them into home ownership, and take a seller of that home and take them to the next home, whether it's upsizing or downsizing, the key is we miss as an industry, we miss as a sales kind of vertical, the idea of what Seth is saying here. The most important thing about scaling your business is that you make the promises you can keep, and that you blow the customer's mind so that when they come out at the end of the transaction, they are flat out committed to helping you win and build your brand. So what we don't want is we don't want people talking about us negatively. So we've got to kind of level up our consumer experience, kind of that whole process where we want to blow their mind during, the contract phase and closing of their home and their loan. But we also then, we not only want them to say good things about us, but we want to leverage those good things in social circles, right? So when we understand what Seth Godin is saying, well, let me tell you what I believe. I believe that one-to-one referrals, okay, so that would be me referring somebody to you. That's the one-to-one referral. They're the most powerful form of influence there is. So one thing that every lender and every agent wants to pay attention to is they want to measure their conversion rate on conversations to contracts, right? It's that straightforward. And what I want you to understand is that the more clearly you generate one-to-one referrals, the higher the conversion rate to contracts is going to be. And so I put in here the lowest cost lead, and I put leads in quotes because I think for most businesses today, buying leads and sifting through them to see how we finally come up with somebody who can do a deal, it works. You can buy leads all day long. I made a decision early on that I wanted the relationship piece to be so strong that they referred me the people, not gave me the leads, referred me the people. And what I learned, and I think you could see it from a common sense standpoint, is those people that are referred one-to-one, if Todd refers Joe to Jim or to Mary, that referral has the highest probability to convert to a relationship that can last a lifetime. So with that as kind of a backdrop, we look at these three letters, WOM, right? And we know that it stands for word of mouth. And I'm just going to make a statement right now. And that is, I believe almost everybody in lending and real estate is under leveraging word of mouth. And right now, with interest rates being as low as they are and seemingly loans falling out of the sky and so on and so forth, you may not be thinking word of mouth. Maybe a lot of your business now is word of mouth, but to be intentional about word of mouth is to understand that every single time you or your team have an interaction with a client, something is transpiring that either sinks that trust deeper, right? Or it starts to sever that trust. And so if the trust can be deepened at every stage of the commercial experience, from the time they think about buying, selling, borrowing, to the time they have bought, sold, and borrowed, in there is where we got to link trust at the deepest levels possible. And here's why. 65% of new business, if you do this the right way, comes from word of mouth referrals. That means 2 out of every 3 deals are going to come from word of mouth if you're delivering 9s and 10s on net promoter scores or 4.5 stars or above on a 5-star scale. 65% of respondents trusted word of mouth referrals from people they knew. So again, by 2 out of 3, it's a very powerful stat. So then when you put this all together, some of you who follow me and who have been in our academy know that we have a trademark kind of business strategy around what's called the circle of cash flow. And you can just clearly see here that if you do a really, really great job for a seller, or you do a really great job for a buyer, or you do a really great job in the lending, the financing for a borrower, you do a really great job, that opens the possibility that you could infiltrate their networks, their social circles, if you will. So while it starts with this green circle, it starts with that first human being that you just simply blow their mind. Most of us do not have an articulated referral generation strategy that would proliferate like this picture is showing. It would proliferate. One meaning leading to another, 2 meaning leading to 8 more, 8 meaning leading to 32 more, 32 more meaning leading to 128 more. That's the thinking around this. So there's a mindset around referrals. There's a mindset at point of sale. So this is a script. We're going to post this deck in the chat window so you guys will be able to grab this. But if my first encounter with a borrower or my first encounter with a seller or buyer, we'll use lending as an example here. I want to tell that husband and wife or that borrowing couple or whomever it is, my team and I spend 90% of our week making sure everything goes smoothly for families like you while financing their real estate. The only way we can afford to do that is if you introduce us to friends and family you may know who might also need financing in the next few months or even years. If you've learned a lot today and had a great experience, we'd be grateful if you'd connect us with whomever you know that would also benefit from learning what we went over today and getting a custom analysis for their own situation. What this is doing is it's taking a well-oiled, high-trust conversation, and where the indication from both parties is we're going forward. Okay, I, as the vendor, providing lending solutions, providing the buying or selling solutions on the real estate side, I am never, ever, ever for the rest of my life going to let anybody that knows me and now loves me and now trusts me not to be pegged in to my tribe and therefore then to my sales ecosystem. If I'm a real estate agent and I've sold 100 homes in the last 12 months, I've got 100 salespeople in my sales force. If I'm a lender and I've closed 300 loans, I've got 300 salespeople for me in my sales force. So we miss this at point of sale most often. And what we do right after this, and you'll see how powerful this becomes, we're going to send you a Facebook friend request to make sure to stay in touch. We post pertinent information about the property and financial markets, as well as guidelines and other valuable information. It would be good for you to see that as we proceed. And then here's the clincher. If you could do us a huge favor and post something about our meeting today and tag us, this would allow your friends to contact us directly should they want to learn more about home financing. And what this does is it starts to put you in the middle of intentionally growing your referral base, growing your one-to-one marketing. It's cheap, it's inexpensive. There's not a lot of noise, there's not a lot of digital stuff that has to go out. And you really take your brand and you start to upscale your brand because you realize that the better care I give to any one individual, the more likely that individual is to introduce me to their circles of influence. And so when you look at this and you think, okay, so what if for every purchase contract I do, each one of those purchasers finds me one more purchaser in a year? If I'm a lender, what would it look like if, I've done 100 loans and all 100 of those borrowers have referred me to one more person that wants financing? What if I start to think that at every point of sale experience, I could engage a word of mouth process? Again, it's so simple, right? But I believe that probably 9 to maybe 9.5 out of every 10 people in the space that you guys are in, lending and real estate, I just don't believe they're doing it. I don't believe they're working the referral market the way they need to work it. So we have an entire playbook on all of these things, 14 different specific playbooks on, how to make sure you manage your volume the right way, how to make sure you manage referrals the right way, how to generate leads in the most profitable, productive way possible, how to overcome the objections that are in the marketplace on price and product and so on and so forth, how to have deeper relationships with your clients so that they get this kind of love from you so that they want to be an active ingredient for your referral market, all the way up to the scripts and dialogues you have to have, deep emotional connection. All of those things are as good as the stuff that we just spent 12 minutes on today. So one of the reasons we do this is we're hearing from a lot of people today that they're having a lot of success, but their lives and their business are a little bit kind of tumultuous, right? We've got the COVID-19 stuff going on. That's obviously a big deal. We have lockdowns still happening in most of the states. We're learning virtual as fast as we can to do those things new. We have added balls that we have to juggle if we are at home and we have family and children and all those types of things. So I was thinking this morning that my first time that I hired a coach was when the market was really, really cranking, really on fire. And I just remembered I couldn't do it all. I felt like at the end of the day, I was exhausted and I didn't know what to do next. And my mentor told me, you need to have a 10% attitude about just being your best. And I said, what's that mean? He said, just need to invest 10% of whatever your income goal is so that you can be your best. And that's kind of the mindset we have in High Trust Coaching. And so if you like the teaching we're doing today, if you find yourself busier than you've been in a long time, if you're maybe a little bit uncertain about your next moves in real estate or lending, and even if you're not uncertain, but you'd like to make more money in less time with less stress, I just invite you to go to hightrustcoaching.com today. Just type it in right after the session is over and just sign up for a no obligation 30-minute call with one of our certified coaches. I mean, there's no harm, no foul. You can ask any question you want. These guys and gals are all in the business we're in. They are doing loans every day. They're selling homes every day, and they also coach every day. And so if you're interested in that, just go to hightrustcoaching.com and just put your name in, and then you could have a call with one of our coaches and see how that could perhaps reshape your thinking about what is possible. I was thinking this morning about a guy named Thomas Dyer, and Thomas Dyer said something. He said, the life that you and I lead is the life within the limits of our own thinking. And I think what I know, hand selecting our coaches, is that they wake up every day and they want every one of their coaching members to make more money, make that money in less time, and make that money with less stress. I'm going to tell you, yesterday we were refurbing one of our coaching websites, and I read back through a testimonial from a gal named Lisa Wills, and the testimony was this testimony. She said, In the last 10 months, I've gone from earning $30 an hour to earning $800 an hour in 10 months. And so I just want you to be thinking, even though the loan market is doing great right now, the real estate market is, it's going to be a little bit kind of unsettled through the summer probably. It is what it is, right? Property values aren't sinking yet, but the appetite for buyers is the appetite of buyers and sellers is not, it's not bad, but it's not where we want it to be. Man, get prepped, get your plan in place, and, figure out how to use the best practices of creating trust and having people say yes to doing business with you more quickly, less costly, and with a much higher degree of referring you. So that's today's lesson. I want to remind all of you tomorrow, please, if you're a lender today, watching this, please invite every single one of your real estate agents to join us tomorrow. We're going to have an extended edition of Coffee with Todd tomorrow. We're going to go a full 30 minutes interviewing one of America's highest producing, most profitable real estate agents, a good guy, a friend of mine named Jim Moore. And Jim is gonna teach it, man. I'll tell you, this is going to be a clinic unlike anything you've ever seen. So if you're a lender, bring all of your agents. And if you are an agent, make sure your lender partner is on tomorrow, 9 o'clock, same time, same channel, and we're going to hit it hard. 30-minute sales clinic tomorrow with one of America's top producing real estate agents, Jim Moore. Bye for now. We're going to put the link to this deck in the comment section. Just give us about 5 minutes and you'll be able to download this deck. All right, cheers.